Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Miss Fierce here from the Fierce Trade House. And before I say anything else, to my avid followers, first of all, thank you for following me, following my channel. I know you may have noticed last Sunday, I did not put up a video on my weekly analysis. Now, let me explain. So, what happened was I had a really busy Sunday. And then after I was working on a project for some of my client work on a separate issue, and I got carried away. So by the time I was doing the weekly analysis recording, it was like around 6 going to 7. And then on top of that, so I was really knackered by the end of the day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna upload it. I'm gonna upload it. And then I forgot, guys. I completely forgot. So on Monday, I'm like, okay, I haven't yet posted this video. I need to upload it. But now remember, we had such a short week on Monday, Tuesday, because Wednesday was our Independence Day in Kenya. So what happened again? I got carried away in the morning doing things, and by Monday afternoon, evening, I'm like, okay, there's no point of posting this recording because it's kind of outdated already. Yeah. So today I'm going to upload this immediately. I'm done recording it right now. So if you noticed that I didn't post it, my apologies. If you didn't notice, that's all right. But here you are. We do this every week. If this is your first time on my channel, please like and subscribe and feel at home. So that being said and out of the way, as always, guys, I tend to look at NAS, the indices. So I'm going to focus on NAS today and maybe US 30. And I'm actually looking at it from the monthly time frame. Now, this is like everything on the monthly time frame. It's so interesting to see it from this light. But we can see our first candle that printed the month was in August of 2020. And what we've been seeing since we broke out to the upside in November is that NAS for the last 2 years consecutively, let's say 1 year because we're still in half year 2022. So let's say for the past almost 1 and 8 months there, so to speak, we've been bullish. Okay, so actually this is November. Yeah, actually for the past 1.5 years, we've been extremely bullish. And then in December, January, we started correcting. So on the monthly, we're seeing a really major correction happening, or rather consistent correction happening to the downside. We see in March, we kind of tried to possibly fill out something. We were bearish and then we corrected and then we continued. Now, the last 2 months, again, we've been bearish. We can see the month of May, we actually took out liquidity, which was what I had been anticipating. It happened and we actually got into a displacement. I think this imbalance is on a lower time frame. It must be on the weekly or the daily time frame. And then this month, we've been 50-50, if I can say so, but really more bearish than anything. And we've just started. So, but the way it's looking is like we may just find ourselves going low, because if I look at this, if I look at the monthly, there is liquidity zones lying below here. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that price is actually trying to get back to the 2020 low, which is at 10K. Now, considering what has been happening, we know that the Fed, I think it's last week, or I don't know when Powell was speaking about quantitative tightening. We know that during COVID season, there was a lot of quantitative easing and a lot of liquidity being ingested into the market, a lot of printing of money, but that has also caused a bit of inflation. And so that has to be, so we saw the market, is beginning to retrace back down. And so that's a monthly. So we are in bear market, technically. We're in bear market. We rejected off of this zone and then tried to push up, but not quite. But on the weekly, on the weekly time frame, we're seeing that we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. For 8 weeks, NAS and possibly the indices have been very consistently bearish. Okay. So when we took out, so what has happened is we literally took out liquidity, yes, but then we then left some more sell side liquidity. So we are not done. We are not done yet with just clearing the liquidity, sell side liquidity, and the imbalances below. So my take is that we may push up possibly and then continue to the downside. So if you begin to see bearish structure forming, just know we are targeting the lows of 11,497 because there's a lot of liquidity lying there. And then we have an imbalance coupled there. So we are literally going to possibly go all the way to 11,300 levels and even lower. So 10,000 is a target, the long-term target. But right now, we took out liquidity and began to push up on the weekly. So on the week of 23rd May, we were relatively bullish, okay? And last week, we did took out the previous week's high and topped out at 12,939.2. And then we began to drop. Now, this drop for me is more like a pullback, and I just feel like there's potential to maybe push up before we push down. Yeah. So, or alternatively, this could be a liquidity grab and we will start seeing price going low. So I'm kind of 50-50, just looking at the weekly time frame because the structure is very, very, very bearish on the week. Okay. So this could just be a correction, taking out liquidity, and we'll continue to go down because again, there's the near-term liquidity is below here, but as well, upside, if I look at the daily, we do have liquidity resting above around 13,581. Okay, and then we have imbalances as well. So I'm seeing, like we can see here a bit better. What we're seeing is just delete some things here. What we're seeing, I mean, the markets from last week. So what we are seeing is liquidity was taken out, price pushed up, pulled back, and then broke out to the upside. And literally, we were targeting liquidity around here. And we can see we broke upside, came back down, tapped into an imbalance, okay, took out liquidity, if I look at it, and pushed up. We did close bearish, okay, but I'm just like, we do have imbalances lying below here. We have our daily order block as well. So there is potential to, come down and push up before we, there's that scenario. But I'm seeing with this liquidity grab here that tapped into this imbalance, we may see, maybe a correction to the upside. Although when I zoom in, again, that's why it's good to zoom in. I always tell my students, always zoom into the chart so that you can just see exactly how the market printed. So we took out liquidity and dropped. Okay, so there's potential to just fill out this gap below here. So that's about 12,337.2. Or alternatively, we'll just start pushing. So again, guys, as you can tell, I'm like, my take is that, we did take out liquidity, we then pulled back and closed bearish. There is potential to continue bearish to fill up this gap. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen before we probably go and, attack the buy side liquidity levels at 13,585. But we are really in bearish structure. The thing is though, because we took out this structure here, this could just be a retracement before we continue. But we closed slightly higher than the previous week. Okay. And the low of the week was not as convincing. So I'm just like, I would really like to see price push higher before we push lower. Okay, but there's potential to just drop, fill out the imbalance, because that's what near term. Okay, so near term we could drop, fill out the imbalance, and then see price push up, and probably come back to this supply level up here. So let me look at the 1 hour. I mean, you can see very bearish structure. And we still have these levels here. I mean, there's potential for price to really drop. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see price drop on market open, fill out this imbalance here, and then we can think about, what's happening. Like, all this is sell side liquidity lying here. So that would be a near term move that I would be looking at as potential for price to drop. Okay. And if we look at it structurally, what we are seeing is on last week on Sunday, I think we opened up here. So the Sunday open is here. We took out the Sunday open, really. And I think we were retesting a previous structure up here. We did take out liquidity around here, and then we dropped, right? We took out liquidity and dropped. So this, so I'm just like, I want to see what happens, but it would be nice if price just tapped into that as a near-term target, near-term move, and then we'd see what happens in the London, end of Asia and London kind of thing going on. Okay, but we haven't taken out this low, so again, still looking, interesting. So that's NAS. Bearish on market open. Let me see the 15. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, can we just take care of the sell side liquidity downside? Like, can we just do that? Then we can do something else, That's what I'm thinking. So let me look at US 30. And I guess it's the same thing, right? Same thing. We have imbalances below, we have liquidity, and I'm assuming when price started breaking down, it's just targeting these lows here at 32,509. So that's what I'm looking at as, targets. That's about 400 points away. That's on the 15 minutes, but giving me similar vibes. We did try to tap into the imbalance here, but we still have potential business downside. We did take out liquidity and push up and take out liquidity again, and now we are so we are now kind of in this sideways zone. I don't know if you guys can see what I mean by sideways. So we came into it. I'm just like, we may as well. There's liquidity resting below here, like there's imbalance and yeah. So guys, that's my take. So let's look at a currency, and I think today I will look at euro. We look at a euro pair, or let me look at GBP, but GBP USD. Also because I would, if I'm not trading an index pair, I'll probably be looking at GBP USD. Whew. So let's go on the weekly. Wow. Very interesting structure, right? We see price liquidity grab possibly happened here, actually happened here. Then price began to shift to the upside and attack buy side liquidity. So we had buy side liquidity and we had imbalances. Now this is a pretty aggressive grab happening. So that's that. And then to the upside here, we did take out liquidity. We then pushed up and then started to break down. And my assumption is we are targeting, there's this imbalance here and there's liquidity still below here. So this would be a near-term target. The thing is, we do have imbalances above. So I'm thinking, on the weekly, potentially, there's potential to push up, right? Because we've kind of taken out the previous week's low. So I'm just going to assume this was a quick retest and a continuation to just fill out the imbalances above. So I'm just anticipating that, we'll probably need to deal with some things up here. If we do push lower, we're just probably pushing lower to, clear out imbalances below this low, maybe all the way to 1.24986 on the weekly. So that's how it's looking. So we do have this imbalances, liquidity lying, buy side liquidity lying below there. So there's potential to retrace and then begin to buy to take care of all this. Okay, so long term, I am bullish. Shorter term, I'm looking at possibly, just because of how this structure is, maybe, kind of like taper down because the market has been bullish. The market is pretty bullish. We're in this zone here. Okay, so we are kind of in an accumulation zone of sorts. So we'll have to take care of, there'll be a lot of liquidity grabbing within this zone, either way. So I'll just be looking and seeing if we take out this high or take out this low, then I'll want to see how that happens and then I can make a decision. But right now, I'm feeling like we need to pull down a bit before we continue. So GBP, JPY is technically moving exactly how I want it to move. We have this daily candle here took out liquidity and some previous days highs, weeks highs. We closed with a bit of a rejection. Let me look at the weekly. We still have an imbalance to take care of. So I'm just like, push up and then, correction. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm anticipating. But again, the weekly is looking bullish. Okay, the weekly is looking bullish, but we have taken out liquidity. We may see a bit of a pullback before we continue to the upside. So I'm just like, let's taper out and then push up. So pull back and then continue. Maybe open bearish and then continue. And with just the way this chart closed. I mean, just the way this closed is what is making me feel like there's potential to come and clear imbalances below before we continue bullish. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Because we took out the May 5th high. Yeah, so I'm just like bearish. Let's look at a euro pair. Euro AUD. Okay, Euro AUD. Wow, okay, this must have been a class I was teaching, so ignore the mess. Let me just clear that. Hold on, what was I drawing? Okay. So technically, we are in an accumulation of sorts on Euro AUD. We dropped significantly, and then now we've just been in this lull since March of the year. We took out liquidity here and began to form higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. And I'm just thinking, we are going to continue to buy. I've been bullish on Euro AUD since April. And why? Because there's all this activity pending up here that I think we need to go and take care of. I feel like this series of drops here in the last couple of days, last week, were just to take care of liquidity, fill out imbalances. But right now, I feel like it's possibly time to start seeing price shifting possibly higher. Maybe until the 1.50 1.500, 5,000, 50,000, 532 level. I really want to see price push up and then continue down. So kind of looking like this is bearish structure, but this is within an accumulation zone. So this area, I think we're just going to see a lot of price moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But my interest would be to see price push higher, so maybe on the near term push up and then continue down, because we do have levels of liquidity lying downside. So that's a potential possibility. So interesting how all these charts every time. So yeah, guys, I'm just like, this swing high should be taken out. I mean, there's buy side liquidity. There's definitely buy side liquidity. So I'm going to be rooting for Euro AUD to just push up. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at AUD USD. And then I guess I can look at gold and we can call it a wrap. Yeah, so AUD USD is just looking like GU. So I'm bearish. We do have, again, liquidity lying downside. We do have imbalances below. So I'm bearish on that. Let me go to gold and then we can call it an afternoon. So gold, let's look at let me look at gold. Let me do a top down, like a proper top down of gold. Let me clear my chart. So what we are seeing is on the monthly, gold took out some lows, and then we see June started bullish on gold, although there was a bit of a rejection upside. Whether we'll continue to push up is the question. Yeah. Although if I'm to look at this a bit more, okay, these are the lows I want gold to get to. So we've pushed up, and I'm just thinking there's potential, but there's also potential for, because this is a monthly, so let me look at the weekly. Yeah, because this is so we do have this let's say this imbalance up here. So I'm thinking we're going to be bullish on gold, potentially on the weekly, potentially. Again, I keep on saying disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinion. There's a lot of sell-side liquidity. So I'm very sure that gold is targeting the liquidity below here. But in the near term, we had this liquidity grab happen. Okay. We've left sell-side liquidity below here pending. So yeah. So these are near-term targets on gold. Okay. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, 566.9, 732. Just hold on. I just want to see where we're at right now. Where we are at. people. So we're still in pretty discounted, premium discounted zones, discounted area. So we're still in a good zone to buy, for and potentially push up, fill up that gap, and then continue to the downside. That would be something I'd be looking at. It's just that the way this last week's candle closed, we took out the lows and highs of the previous week. So it's just a bit indecisive for me. But I'm thinking, took out the lows and took out the highs. We could see price, because of this bearish structure, we could see price continue on to the downside. But let me just say I'm 50-50 right now. Looking at the weekly, there are two potential ways this thing could go. We've retraced back. If we take out this low, I'm like, I really love to come and just fill up this. That's what I would really want to happen. So let me look at the 1 hour. But like I said, 50, we're smack in the middle of something. Okay. When I look at the lower time frame, though, I'm seeing imbalances below. I'm seeing liquidity below. But I think we'll push up and then attack that and then go back up. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, like push up, push down, then, because we are really bearish generally. Printing bearish candles, yeah, so I'm just gonna wait and see how the market opens. With gold, guys, I want price to push up. Like, honestly, I want price to push up and then push down, clear imbalances, and then we can then decide what to do. Like, that's really what I'm looking at. Yeah. So, let me look at Bitcoin. That's the last thing, guys. Let me look at crypto. Let's look at crypto. We know there's been craziness as well in the crypto markets. We know that, for example, was it Solana had some outage? Solana is one of those cryptocurrencies that has been giving Ethereum a run for its money. And there were some outages, 2 outages in the same month, and so it has caused such a stir in the market. We are seeing BTC. BTC has just been BTC, in my opinion. Like, I'm just like, we've just been ranging and taking out highs, and we are still in bear territory. We're still in bear territory. I'm not thinking we're gonna get out of this in a while. Okay. But when we do, it's going to be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. So the 1 hour is giving me bearish vibes. The weekly time frame is also still giving me bearish vibes. Still loads of liquidity lying below, guys. Yeah, I'm just like, look at this bearish structure. Daily. Like, what is this? Yeah, so we're in accumulation. Okay, we're in accumulation. And I'm just like, I want to see us push lower. Okay, I just want to see us push lower, maybe take out this low, and then, but we are stuck in this. So until we get out, I don't have much to say about Bitcoin. Okay. But generally, there's been quite some interesting moves in the market. We've seen some big exchanges announcing that they're actually laying off staff. There are rumors that we're in crypto winter. So what that means is that, yeah, bears, and we may not see, too much growth in terms of bullish moves. So yeah, so that's just basically that. Guys, I hope this has been of value. I don't want to talk for too long. I sometimes have a tendency of just running my mouth, and I don't want to do that. I hope this has been of value to you. If it has, please put a big thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. If you want me to look at some specific pairs during the week, drop me a line and I'll possibly post some charts in the community tab on YouTube or in my Telegram group, Fierce Trade House. Yeah, so see you soon, guys. See you soon, guys, and have a lovely week ahead. Bye.